Hey YouTubers, it's me, Monkeydragon here, helping all you green gods out there. Well anyways guys, I'm playing Search again. Yes, if you guys were with me when I originally started my channel at, Modern Warfare 3, I played Search all the time. But anyways, so let's not get sidetracked. The topic of today's commentary is Search and Destroy, and some tips that I have for you guys, and perks and stuff that I feel like works really well in Search and Destroy. And I'm going to first start off, and my first 3 perks that I find are the best ones for Search and Destroy is Flat Jacket, Tactical Mask, and Hacker. Or is it Hacker? Or Engineer. There you go, Engineer. Those are the 3 best perks that I find that should be on all your guys' classes. As for equipment, me personally, I find that the Motion Sensor and the Bouncing Betty are the 2 best ones. I know what you guys are going to say, well, Bouncing Betty is all you got to do is crouch to get underneath you. Well, you don't have to use it to kill them. You can also use it as a notification itself. Sometimes I place it in the middle of floors just for people to find them, so that I know that they're coming that way. That's a really good tip for you guys. And even if you put it near the bomb and they come by and it detonates and it doesn't kill them, then you know they're defusing the bomb. You can use it as a notification too. It's a thing that you can use as a really good tool if you use it properly, and that's what I'm trying to get it at, and that's why I really like it. And the reason why I like a motion sensor is because not all the times you're going to be able to detect people, and sometimes you're like, oh, there's someone in that building, you toss a motion in there, okay, cool, there's a guy, and you go ahead and you get the kill for it, and it's pretty good. And those are like the equipment and perks that I find are really good. Now for attachments on weapons. I find, for me, since I've been running the FAL, I like the MMS, or the millimeter scanner, stock, and suppressor. You guys really don't want to go too weirdly with these attachments in this game mode, because it's a little bit hardcore. I don't know if you guys are following me, but there's no reason to run some crazy stuff like the rapid fire. Grip, for you guys, if you guys don't know, is not a good attachment, by the way. Long barrel, once again, in Search and Destroy, you really want to run a suppressor, and stock is really good because you get to wrap around those corners really good. And I find that just like suppressor is a really good one, stock's a really good one. MSM, that's just for my sight. I don't really use it to see through walls. Although in one game I got like a couple kills solely because I could see through walls. But don't rely on it. I'm not going to say it's a good attachment because I just use it for the sight. But yeah, you want to kind of avoid any attachments that aren't going to be good for Search, in the sense of that Search isn't a long game. Extended mags, all that kind of stuff, you're not going to really need in this game mode, You're not going to live that long, in both sense of that the match is going to restart. And that's why I didn't mention anything in the second perk slot, as far as like Scavenger and that kind of stuff. Because those perks, they're honestly not going to do you too well in there. There's no reason to have Scavenger or Toughness, because you only get 1 life, and there's no reason to replenish. You can pick up a weapon if you really need to. You know what I mean? If you're that low, you need to. And to switch hands, fast hands, there's no really reason for that, because you're not going to be picking up weapons, you're not going to be switching weapons all the time. You're probably going to get 1 or 2 engagements. You're not going to get into like the 3 engagements with people. That may happen, but it's not going to happen as often, because you're going to still be in that 1 life scenario, where if you kill 1 guy, there's that 1 less guy on the map. So you want to kind of avoid that. And as far as kill streaks, this varies for me. I obviously prefer the lower end kill streaks. The Hellfire Missile is kind of my top end kill streak. That's kind of like my maximum kill streak. The Lightning Strike, that's an iffy one. Because in Search, since it's not really like, oh, spawn in, oh, I died, you push it there. The Lightning Strike is kind of an iffy thing for me. I actually prefer the Hellstorm Missile. I know in most of my commentaries, and especially in objective-based game modes, I don't recommend the Hellfire Missile because of its slow thing. But I use that for killing people rather than a defensive measure. Because I know whenever I say to use the Lightning Strike that you should use it as a defensive measure. But in Search and Destroy, you need to play a little more aggressively, since you only have that 1 life and there's a limited amount of time to get to the objectives. And Hunter Killer is another really good one. That's a really good one to use, because you can either use it to take out UAVs or players themselves and UAV. And I will give this one tip really quick. When you're calling in UAVs, do not call them in for the first 15 seconds of the map, for this one and sole reason. If people don't have Ghost on, they may be able to switch their class. If they're smart enough and fast enough, they'll switch one that does have Ghost on. And for this other reason, if you call it in when the map originally starts, or when the match starts right away, people might go, oh, I'm going to hide in the back of the map, and they're going to play a lot more defensively. But if you go, okay guys, I got a UAV, I'm going to call it in like 10-15 seconds. Wait 10-15 seconds, and by that time, people are going to start to get near the position in the middle of the map where people start meeting up. So then you'll be like, oh, UAV inbound. You're like, oh, there is a guy in my path, I'm going to wait for this guy. You see what I'm saying? You can get that edge on them if you wait that 15 seconds. If you call it in too early, then they'll be like, oh, UAV, I'm going to be more defensive and hide in the back. And that's what you don't want. Another tip for the hunter killer. Try to throw it in the direct, this may sound obvious, but maybe you guys don't know, but in search and destroy, try to throw it in the paths that most people take, and if there's a last man alive, throw it. You don't want to try to avoid throwing it in the beginning of the map, almost, depending on how the game is going. And everything varies for you guys, you know what I mean? Just because I say something don't mean it's set in stone that you have to use it, that you have to use this, and all that kind of stuff. Change it to your game style. I'm just giving you my opinions on what works for me, and what I find works for me, pretty much. And I pass it on to you guys so that maybe it might help you guys. So my tip for the hunter killer is try to throw it in the direction of where the enemies are. And remember that it is like a 15-second delay for the hunter killer. I think it's like 15 seconds for the delay when the game first starts. And if you're the last man alive, it's a very iffy thing to throw the hunter killer, because if you throw it and it doesn't kill the guy, then it's almost a waste. But if you throw it, he kills you, then that's a waste. You see what I'm saying? So if it's a really indoors map, then don't throw it. Try to save it for a little bit of a rainy day, because you guys also can use it as a super overpowered grenade. If you guys don't know, you can use it as a grenade like, okay, there's a guy around this corner. You can call in your hunter killer and then throw it through the door, and sometimes it'll curve like right then and kill him. Or you can throw it at a wall or into a room and try to kill someone. You can use it as a really powerful C4. That's another way that you can use it. And don't use care package. Care package is one of the common things you see in search and destroy, but it's a really bad maneuver, solely because it takes like 20 seconds to call in or so, roughly. I'm not 100% sure on the time, but for the time that it calls in, most enemies will rush to the enemy spawn, to your spawn to try to get it from you. And if you call it in mid-game, sometimes you die from it. And if you don't get to pick it up, depending on what it is, it might be a huge letdown. And another little tip for you guys, like my last really quick one, is counter UAV honestly not that effective, because people are going to be using UAVs, and if you call that in, people are going to play a lot more campy, a lot more defensive, and you want to avoid that. So don't call in UAVs. Care packages aren't good. R60s, pretty decent. So those are my recommendations for SND. Anyways, guys, yeah, so we reached the end of the comment. So like the video if you liked it, or if you found it helpful. Subscribe to me if you want to see more of my videos, and don't forget to tell your friends about me, because who wouldn't want to win 20 bucks? And if you want to stay updated on all my videos and everything that I'm doing, follow me on Twitter. It's at xXMonkeyDragon. A link to it will be in the description. I'm Monkeydragon. That's all I got, guys. Peace.